Please be seated. So Ben, it's my older son, has been in and out of libraries since he's been a tyke. Now, I have to tell you, Ben has agreed that it's okay for me to tell you this story. He would borrow books and artwork, including sculptures and framed prints. So one summer college is out, so he's not in the college library now. He shows up back at the public library. And he's just come off of a day of picking corn. He's looking ragged. That's how he was making money to support his education through the summers. He's tired, and he's scruffy looking with the beard and whatnot. He had always enjoyed the sense of friendliness and welcome of those behind the circulation desk, and as he got older, the reference desk. He goes into the library this time and is aghast. He senses a very judgmental pullback. So he's not acknowledged as he had been. He says, "I don't care, Mom, if they didn't recognize me or they did recognize me. It is that I thought they were relating to me as a person before, not how it is I look, or what station in life I appeared to be. And I thought they always acknowledged other people as well." So I, as a mama, was pleased that he saw that there was this band of separation, and that perhaps what he saw was a measuring stick that keeps us one from another. What keeps us one from another is that we can't accept. Perhaps sometimes we can't accept ourselves, and certainly I don't want to be associated with somebody that we're not sure would make us look good either. That sometimes happens. The tax collector was not accepted by the Pharisee. Pharisee didn't accept him. I believe the Pharisee did not accept the Pharisee either. Though the Pharisee acted as if he was, neither of the two were squeaky clean. But picture the Pharisee. He's reflecting a litany, out loud, a litany of holy qualities that he has as if he's in a house of mirrors instead of a house of prayer. And there in our view is also the tax collector, who's living a job that serves the opposer, the oppressor of the Jewish people, his own people. The tax collector begs mercy. The Pharisee, to the degree he projects himself blameless by following a formula, followed all the rules, shows a contradiction that becomes more and more evident, but not to him. He kept the law, all the rules. He tithed over and above the rules. The rule is, Jewish law, tithe the fruit of your fields. Did you notice? He said, I tithe 10% of all my income. So he's feeling good. It's important for him to think of himself as doing the best, as being blameless, perhaps. He was doggedly observant, but he misses the point of what the tithing's about. And Mary McGlone says that he misses the point also on what fasting is about. Fasting is a practice of moving oneself out of the center, moving aside. And there he is, front and center, even if in his own mind. Tithing is a practice that provides a way for him to care for others. And the man reverts to contempt for others. He claims he's honest, that he is not cheating like others, not like the tax collector, not like the thieves, not like adulterers cheat. But he's not honest enough with himself. He doesn't see that a man is not a scorecard of what he does or does not do. if I were not to look at my notes and tell you what I want you to hear, I'm going to tell you that on Friday at the Y. So I'm coming out of the water class. There's, some of you may know, there's small tables sort of at the entrance exit at the Y, and you can sit there and people just, at random, there's newspaper. And so I sit down, I'm going to grab something to eat, take a quick look at the editorials and the comics, and then get out of there because I've got to work on a sermon. It's Friday already. And a woman was already sitting there, and she proceeds to tell me what was very important to her. Her son was coming just a little bit later, and they were headed to the Green Dragon, where she goes every week. And then she tells me about her mobility problems, and I'm wondering, what am I going to do? Because I have a need to move on, and yet I don't want to be ungracious to this woman who is obviously in her moment, talking to me about this event, this being with the son. So somehow I extricate myself as nicely as possible, and I thought to myself, good, that was healthy. Get out to the parking lot and say to myself, don't listen too closely, wow, that was nice of you. You're a very busy woman, and she's not as busy as you are, and look, you kind of stooped down and you didn't hear that. There's a superiority piece that I had of congratulating myself for being kind to somebody that I judged maybe wasn't as important in that moment as I am, because I got to get home with this sermon. So, but I caught it. And what we're saying is the Pharisee, if he can catch it, he'll hear it too. And be grateful for the humbling. Those who exalt themselves will be humbled. That doesn't mean you're going to get punished. It means I'm going to lift you to the place. I'm doing scripture now. God's saying, I lift you to the place where you can see what's not sitting right, and that you can sit right in front of me, and not be afraid. Not be afraid of yourself is not enough. So, I'm looking at my notes again. If we go to the translation, some of the translations at the end of the gospel, Jesus said, which of these men goes home justified? I say both of them do. Both of them do, in case you didn't hear that. Because justified does not mean, we have figured out that you have a reason that really exempts you from guilt on the thing that you did. Justify means, even though the wrong or the ill stands, you are accepted because Jesus justifies all for us. You are justified. And those of us who can hear it, who can watch and see that God accepts us no matter what we've gotten ourselves into or how we are even in our own mind's eye, we are. And so does that Pharisee. Not only the man who's asking for mercy, but the other man, he just doesn't know he's justified. He may well continue on his rant. None of us get through life. None of us do. It's because we're born into life without difficulties. To some degree of violence, some degree of broken promises, losses, abandonment, every last one of us. And what we tend to do, today just lent itself to this. Sorry for the noise. We tend to cover ourselves and protect ourselves, to have a defensive pun about those things that we are afraid may well be more of. Protect ourselves from the hurt. And sometimes that's an armor. And sometimes that keeps people's love out. And sometimes that means we don't know that God is standing there with all he wants to do. All she wants to do is love us and have us know that we are acceptable. We really are. This is Ben's, by the way. Yeah. Oops, let me see if I can take it off. I need help taking it off, please. That's great. Thank you so much. I'm going back, I gotta find it. So when I come clean, I know that there's a part of each one of those men in the story of the gospel in me too. And my guess is we all share that. And what Jesus offers is peace to us. Be at peace. It's all right. Now, the it's all right is because we're standing there and we hear the words, we hear the sense, it's all right. And that transforms us to know that. We relax and don't have the need to either overcompensate with coats bigger than we need to protect ourselves that way. Nor do we need to revert to fighting the world because the world ain't an easy place to be. We go in both directions sometimes, both times. When we come to the peace ourselves in church, it is a way for us to say that we are sharing acceptance of each other when we know that we ourselves are broken. We know others are broken. We're brothers and sisters, but we know it broken and beloved by God, so that the measuring stick can go out the window. There's a word for sin. It's a Hebrew word that means, you've heard this before, I'm sure, missing the mark. So you picture an archer, right? We got the bow. Now, if we're using a measuring stick, it's going to miss the mark. If we have the arrow that shoots for the place where we're quiet in front of God, where we look in God's face and God looks at us, and we stand firm, not stand firm on our own merits, but stand firm because we trust that God is in the acceptance and God is in the justification and God is in the relationship between us. So we have today a story by Jesus. It sounds like a story of compare, contrast, judge, don't judge. I think it's a story of compassion for each other, where we are, where we've been, and where together we can go.